Hi, welcome to the weekly Virginia Union University Dr. Alvin Parker football presser. We're going to be talking today about the big win over Bowie State and also the awards that came out and then the upcoming homecoming game. But Coach, 52-3 win over Bowie State, the biggest win ever in the history of Virginia Union against Bowie State. Can you give us some comments on that game?
Just first and all, I was just happy the way that the guys played. They played extremely well. The coaches did an excellent job. And everything just kind of went right. On the weekend. So it led up. We had a great week of practice last week. The guys made a commitment to make sure that they put their best product on the field. I think we just try to make sure we get a little better every week, and those guys showed that and did that. So I'm just proud of the program for that.
All right, we're gonna open up the video for questions. Do we have any?
Sure. Coach, just talk a little bit more about your defense. I mean, you guys are on this run here. You've outscored your opponents. I don't have it in front of me, actually, but I know it's a lot to a little over the last 3 games. Just talk a little bit about your defense.
Them guys are playing excellent. Coach Pointer and the rest of our defensive staff are just doing a great job just having those guys prepared on a weekly basis. But like I said in the opening, those guys are making a commitment to getting better every week. They face the challenges that all other offenses present, and they're just ready for it. So those guys, like I said, take a determined effort to make sure they put their best selves out in the field every week. So I'm ecstatic about the way those guys are playing.
Coach, particularly about the rush defense for a minute. I mean, to allow less than 30 yards per rushing per game, you're 7 games into the season, 0 rushing touchdowns. And I understand the teams are coming from behind, so I get that. They got to pass. But, I mean, those numbers are almost inconceivable.
Absolutely. They're the best I've ever seen in my career, coaching-wise, with any team. And I've coached some extremely, good teams that had some good defenses. So, but that's the best thus far. To put up those type of numbers, and those guys said at the beginning of the season they wanted to make sure they stopped the run, and those guys have made a effort to do that, and I think it's just something now that those guys take extreme pride in. Those guys, want to stay number one. Anytime you get number one in anything, you just want to stay there. So I'm happy for those guys over there, but again, just more proud of their play.
Coach, if I could stay with that for a minute. So stopping the run is one thing. I get that. I was looking at the numbers. You guys have scored 33 touchdowns this year, 6 of them on defense and special teams. So not only stopping the run, but also playmakers on defense. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Those guys over there, go back as far as some of those guys' high school careers. A lot of those guys have some offensive backgrounds, so they know what to do when they get the ball in their hands. And it's been a thing we've done since I've been here on special teams, that we want to make sure we create points as well. So those guys are just playing well. Like I said, everybody's just taking the most of their opportunities. We got a lot of guys that play on both sides of the ball. And when them guys get an opportunity to make a play, I think everybody's taking advantage of the opportunity.
Coach, you had 3 players get Player of the Week awards from the Seattle.
Yeah.
Jacob Byers, Justin Meade, and Isaac Anderson. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yesterday they had Isaac Anderson listed as he was from Virginia State, so hopefully they got that corrected. But Isaac played an awesome game, Jada played an awesome game, and Justin played an awesome game. But I think more than just those 3, everybody around those guys make those guys great. A lot of times those guys are household names that you're going to hear no matter when you hear Virginia Union football. You're going to hear those 3 guys' names. But it's a lot of other guys that are very deserving, but those guys stick out. And, of course, their play sticks out. So, Jada ran the ball extremely well. Isaac defended the run and did everything else pretty daggone well. And Justin blocked extremely well. So, I can't say much about those guys. I think those guys is probably all of their, they've been multiple award winners, as far as that award goes, with their player of the week. So, I'm happy for those guys.
Can you talk, Coach, about Curtis Allen and just the fact that you really have like a 1-2 punch, like a lightning and a thunder that not a lot of teams have?
Curtis is good. He's special, and he shares the carries with Jada, shares the load, and those few weeks that Jada was out, he took on a load by himself, so he has the capabilities of doing it. Right now with him being in a shared role with Jada, you get to see a little different side of him, but he's special. He kind of go with a 1A, so to speak, in terms of our backs, but everybody knows who Jada is, but I want, them to make sure they know and respect who Curtis is as well.
And on that note, Rashard Jackson, will he be able to contribute, or is he still sidelined?
Right now, he's still sidelined. He's day to day. He had an injury a couple of weeks back, and he's been fighting through it, trying to get back. But just like when Jada was out a few weeks ago, I wanted to make sure, you just held him and made sure he was ready at the right time. So I'm not sure what his availability is going to be this week. Again, it's just kind of day to day, but he's definitely, made a contribution to that room as well.
Starting with last week against Bowie State, 3 out of your last 4 are at home as you go down the stretch. I'm sure that's got to be very pleasing for you.
Those guys, I think, these guys are taking on a different identity, than teams we probably had in the past. I think everybody loves to play at home, but these guys are kind of taking it like, wherever we get a chance to play at, coach, starting the way we started this year, with multiple road games, it kind of made them adapt that way, so, now we're getting in the back half of the season where we don't necessarily have to jump on a bus to go play or do anything like that. I think those guys just embrace it week to week. Those guys just kind of, take what comes at them. So, and I'm glad they're able to adapt like that, because sometimes, you'll look at a team that plays better on the road. You look at a team that plays better at home. You never know what you're going to get on a weekly basis. But I think those guys have done a constant effort of just making sure they adapt to whatever we're going to have.
Coach, you play Lincoln this week. It's homecoming. This is going to be a big game, even if it wasn't homecoming. It's still going to be a big game.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me a little bit about your approach.
I think it's a big game because it's the next game, and you might hear us say that so much constantly, but that's just the way we coach these guys. Our biggest game is our next game. With the way we kind of winding down to the end of the season, is kind of that October kind of decides what type of team you are or what your future looks like as a team. So our next game is our most important game. It happens to be Lincoln this week, so of course, I'm an alumnus here, and the homecoming is the homecoming, and you want to make sure that those guys have fun and be college students and enjoy themselves. But I think everybody know the task at hand. We had an excellent practice today. Going to finish it up with a meeting this evening. So those guys know the task at hand. Anytime you get to this portion of the season, it's about winning. You just got to find ways to win, find a way to claw out wins, find ways to make sure you put yourself in the best position to win. And that's what those guys know they have to do. We got to do that same thing as a staff. We have to make sure that we're ready to go. We got these guys focused up, and we got these guys on the right track. So that's kind of what this is about this week. But I think these guys have shown a good level of maturity, to make sure that they put themselves in the right position. But, again, we understand, what the week is. It's homecoming, but for the most important part, it's the next football game, and it's against Lincoln.
Are there additional things or responsibilities that the team or the players have to do in terms of homecoming?
Not a lot. I think, those guys, there's some things that's going on campus, like every campus in the country when homecoming arises, and I want them to get a chance to enjoy it. I want them to get a chance to be a part of it, like I said, because for the most part, I was a part of it, but I never was able, my entire 4 years here, I was never able to go to a Friday event. And most of the time, we happened to win all 4 of the homecomings when I was here. So, I got to enjoy myself on Saturday, and that's what it's about. It's about winning those games, and then you get to enjoy it afterwards.
Questions for Coach Parker? All right, Coach, thank you. We're going to see you on Thursday at the podcast. And then, of course, Saturday, good luck against Lincoln.
Appreciate everybody coming.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.